Well, hello, Hollywood Time viewers. Today, we welcome back singer, award-winning entertainer, recording artist, multi-instrumentalist, producer, traveler, and father, Chris Golden. How's that, Chris?
That's a great intro. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Woo! Well, we know you do all that. And today, folks, we're here to talk to Chris because the Hollywood Times and myself are honored to premiere his new music video, Bobbie Sue, performed by Chris, his brother Rusty, Craig, and his son Elijah.
Right. It's a
And that's
family affair. It's a family affair. When
it
you were
is,
talking
right?
about all those different things, I was just thinking, musicians, we just did the largest independent music award show at the Opry House this past Sunday. It's called the Josies, and it was an opera house full of independent artists like ourselves, and we got to perform a song on there. But independent artists are some of the most they go through more rejection in a year than most people will in a lifetime, but we keep going, and musicians. But a lot of our friends and stuff, when you were naming all those things that I did, it's like it reminded me of being an independent artist. You do have to wear a lot of hats because in the last month, I've been a booking agent, I've been a promoter, I've been a studio musician, I've been a record producer, I've been a website manager, I've been a merch wrangler, a driver, a roadie, and every now and then we get to sing. So anyway, a lot of hats to wear.
So explain to us what does it mean to be independent?
Well, there's a lot of joy in it. It's we get to do the music the way we want to do it, and it's we've been blessed to be able to continue to do that, especially as a family here. So that's what we're doing now. We've all got individual careers going on. I mean, my dad is still with the Oak Ridge Boys. Rusty's still writing award-winning songs. I'm out doing gospel music on the weekends a lot of the time as an independent artist. And my children, they're all scattered. My daughter has a character business, and she's living in Orlando and working at the park down there. And my other children are in Chicago going to school. Got one in Rhode Island going to school up at Brown University. I got one at Columbia. So, but this is our side hustle. We get to all come together to make music, and it's a joyous time. So
You must be a proud pop, to have your daughter plays fiddle, right?
she does, and my other children sing with us too when they can. So I'm a proud son too. I
Yes.
mean, my dad is he's a member of the Country Music Hall of Fame. He's a member of the Grand Ole Opry, the Alabama Music Hall of Fame, the Gospel Music Hall of Fame, and he's been doing it for a long, long time. And we're blessed that he still is, and he's got a hunger for it, just like he always had. He still loves to get up and sing, and each day is filled with music. So he loves to stay busy doing that. It keeps him
Yeah.
going. Yeah.
I was so blessed to have an interview with you, your brother Rusty, and your dad earlier this year to talk about, the music that you all created during the pandemic. And it was such a pleasure to speak with him. He's a hoot.
He is indeed. Yeah.
So now this song, Bobbie Sue, which of course the Oak Ridge Boys released back in January of 1982. Boy, I remember that. I was almost 22. I was still 21. And boy, that was such a good song, and
Wow, has that been 40 years?
gee, they're going to have to do you're going to have to do an anniversary release of that song now that you guys are
Well,
going to do
yeah,
video, right?
sounds like it. You know
Oh
what?
my gosh.
What's wild is we're blessed to have the original bass player that played on the hit recording that the Oak Ridge Boys did is playing on our version as well. His name is David Hood. He is from Muscle Shoals, Alabama. He's one of the Mount Rushmore of rhythm sections. He's the bass player that played on RESPECT and
Wow.
Sitting on the Dock of the Bay and all those classic songs that were recorded in Muscle Shoals, everything from Bob Seger and Rod Stewart to the Staple Singers and Paul Simon and Aretha Franklin and Mustang Sally and
Oh,
all that kind of stuff. Yeah, he's got quite a When a Man Loves a Woman and
oh
all
my
those
gosh.
classic songs. So David is still a great player, and he played on our last album that was geared more toward the country rock side of things. So Dad chose a lot of these songs. We did our own take on Bobbie Sue. I had played it on drums for a lot of years with the Oak Ridge Boys. I was out there for 17 years, with those guys playing drums and singing if somebody was down. But
Yeah.
we went in the studio and recorded our own version of that. So anyway,
Yeah,
hope
I
you like
love the music video. I
it.
really do. It's you guys harmonize so well together.
Thank you very much. Proud to have my son on there, Elijah. He's up at Brown University, like I said, in Rhode Island. He just performed a big concert up there this past week called Water Fire. It's one of the biggest events of the year there in Providence. Thousands of people show up. They have a canal running through the town with the gondola riders, but they have these big giant flames that they turn the water to fire once a year. And he was part of the entertainment. He got chosen from a select group of people to be one of the entertainers. So he did 20 minutes there. I heard. I wished I could have seen a video, but I know that he did great. He always makes us proud. So yeah.
What's he's majoring in college?
Well, he's studying English, and he wants to be an English professor. But I told him about this other guy that wanted to be an English professor in high school. And all that, Elijah, he did a lot of acting in the theater companies there. All three of my children love the acting thing. They were really involved in theater and the musical theater, especially. But Elijah did a lot of that in school and showed a great interest. Usually was one of the leads in the plays, as were my other children. And but when he was studying English up there, I told him about this other fellow that wanted to be an English scholar. He was a Rhodes Scholar. He went to school overseas, and he wound up being a great songwriter that had my son Elijah still writes great songs. Yeah, I think the English thing may help him to do that. But this other man I was telling him about, I said there was a guy named Chris Christopherson that he was a Rhodes Scholar. He was an English scholar. Went on to write great songs, headline in Las Vegas as a singer, and he also was an actor. So all those things, don't turn your back on your gifts just because you're doing the English professor thing right now. So he still has a toe in the entertainment biz just because of he's a golden, This is our family business. So anyway, we're certainly proud of him and all of the children,
Yeah. Well, maybe during his spring breaks and the winter breaks and all summer breaks, he'll come and do the music.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
If we can keep the girls away from him,
He's so handsome. Oh my God. I was looking forward to seeing him on the screen.
Yeah.
Well, you're definitely blessed with some beautiful children.
They must have took after their mother.
I know those Goldens are good looking men too. So I was expecting to see you in one of your cool hats today.
Well, you know what? I want to talk about all these hats to wear. I got a rack full of them in there. I can go put one on if you'd like.
I'm like, what? Chris go be in a hat. What?
Yeah. This is all natural today.
Oh my gosh. I was reading too. I know that you've been on the Grand Ole Opry many times. You and your brother have performed together as a Golden since the 80s, but you have your own solo careers. But I read here that you made their successful Opry debut as a family band in June of this year. How cool. What was that like?
Well, it's that old saying, it's not too good to peak too early. So we've all played the Opry separately.
Yeah.
And different bands and different configurations, but that's the first time we'd all come together as the Goldens, William Lee Golden and the Goldens, to play the Opry all at the same time. We did it back in June, and they put out a tweet. I was kind of shocked by it and surprised a little. I was tickled that they said that the Opry put out on all their socials this week how ecstatic the crowd was back in June, and they've hadn't been able to wait to have us to come back on there. So tonight we will be playing on the Opry again. in just a little while.
So what members were with you the first time in June?
Say that again.
Which members were with you in June?
We had 3 generations up there. We had my father, William Lee, the patriarch, my brother, Rusty, myself, and my daughter, Elizabeth, playing with us.
Well, that must have been amazing. And then tonight, who's playing tonight? The same?
The same lineup, yes.
What?
Elizabeth was back home from Orlando for a week, and it just happened that she landed it on the week that we were going to be on the Opry. So we're glad that she's here to be able to do it with us again. Yeah.
Well, it was meant to be.
Yeah.
So what was it like during COVID for you and all the family getting together to record all these songs? What was that like?
Well, it's kind of been a little bit well documented about our thing that we had going on, but like all musicians, I started waking up to every date was canceling. I had a pretty busy year ahead. It had taken me a while as a solo artist to kind of get a little traction going, but I was finally had a little momentum going and a little traction going. I had a lot of dates in the book, and they basically shut down and told us what we were doing was non-essential. But they didn't know our family too well, because music is it's right up there with air and water as being essential to our family. It's something that we can't hardly go a day without. So we continued to make it at home, and it was the first time in a long time, actually years. Rusty was overseas. He took one of the last flights back home that they allowed back in the country, and I remember what a frightening time that was, trying to get him back home.
Yeah.
And at the time, God works in mysterious ways. At the same time, our mother had gotten really sick, and she was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. So we were able to spend that 10 months with her during that whole shutdown, because we were all home. It was like, hey, come stay with me, and we'll get her back and forth to treatments and this and that. So we got to spend a lot of good quality time with Mom. But right after she had passed, Dad had always talked about how music had a healing power, and he wanted us to go into the recording studio and sing all these songs. Well, before that, he had been calling Rusty over to play and sing and get around the piano. I think he said he had this vision for 2 or 3 years. We used to sing together back in the 80s. We spent 9 years together on the road, playing every major fair and festival, but it had been a lot of years since we had done this as a family. And he said he had the vision and the idea to do this for a little while, but that had given us the opportunity, when everybody was at home for such long periods of time, to get together to actually do it. But it all sort of started with Rusty and Dad gathering around the piano and just playing and singing to keep our chops up. It's like, hey, man, it's use it or lose it. So we're going to play and sing our way through this thing. And then they kind of called me in. They started picking out songs to sing every day. They were going down, had a list of songs that they all love to do. It's like, hey, man, we should go in the recording studio and do this. And it started out with the gospel music. And we recorded, I think, 13 gospel songs. And then we didn't feel like we were finished, so it kind of turned into a bunch of classic country stuff that Dad wanted to do. Some of them I didn't even know at the time, but stuff that influenced him. And then we did another album that was a little bit more country rocking type stuff, of songs that influenced us. So it wound up being 34 songs that we recorded together during that time. And we're still out there working it. We got plans to do at least that many more. So we got a lot of we would love to record. Yeah. So hopefully we'll sell enough of these to be able to go back in and record some more. That's the goal.
You will. I have a 6 CD changer in my vehicle, and I have those 3 albums I was blessed to get from your dad and Scott, and they're in my car when I'm driving, and they're just on repeat because I love them all.
Well, when this is over, let me know, and I'll send you some of my solo stuff to put
that would be awesome.
I
Yeah.
got enough stuff to fill those other 3 slots. Ah,
For my independent.
right, all golden in the Golden State, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I was also curious, because of all the instruments. So since you've been around music your whole life, like when did you get your first piano, your guitar, drums? What made you want to pick that instrument?
Well, there are pictures of me. We always had a piano in the house,
Okay.
it's something that a lot of families did
Yeah.
back where we grew up, because that's kind of where we'd all gather around, and usually somebody in the family would play the piano, if not more than one. But we always had a piano in the home. And my brother Rusty, some of the early pictures have me holding a fireplace poker, dancing around like trying to be the little, the lead singer. I wanted to be in the middle, dancing around, James Brown style, right there, in the middle. So that was me. And when I got a little bit older, my brother Rusty started playing drums, and he had a drum set in the house, and I used to kind of play and tap around on those too and learn the beat watching him. So I could watch Rusty and sort of learn how to play the drums. And I can remember we used to kind of fight over the sticks and stuff like that because we were kids. And
Yeah.
Dad took me upstairs one night with the guitar and said, "Hey man, you learn 3 or 4 of these chords on the guitar, and you can play 100 songs with 4 chords. So with just a different feel all the time.
Yeah.
And it's the same 4 chords you can," he said, "and then, you learn how to play something else, then y'all can play together." And that's exactly what I did. So I started playing guitar a little bit. I still continued to play the drums when Rusty wasn't around. And then Rusty saw Elton John, and he kind of forgot all about the drums, and he went over to the piano. And that had always been sitting there. And then he played piano, and I played drums for a lot of the years. And then I got to where, hey man, if he can play piano, I think I can do that too. So I started picking that up, and eventually, mandolin and bass and different things. But I was mostly a musician growing up. I didn't really I would sing when nobody else was around, but I didn't really have the confidence to sing as much. So that kind of came later on in high school, and started doing some of the programs around the school. And I wound up making my vocal debut on Hee Haw
I know,
with
I read that.
the song that I wrote. And that was really the first time that I'd ever come out from behind the drums to sing. So I've been doing that a lot since. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's
But
that's
I
amazing.
still love playing the drums. I mean, this little kit right here, man.
Look
I
at
mean,
you.
it's
Oh,
taken me all over the world. That little red snare drum there, we found it actually on the side of the road when we were
what?
kids. I had it refurbed and everything about 10 years ago and keep it up. And that little drum has played for every living president and a couple that are not here. So it is pretty wild how, it all started out on, hang on just a minute.
What an honor to play for the presidents.
This is what we all started out playing right here. You ever heard of these?
No,
This was a thing in the East that they had
potato
cans.
chips.
They had potato chip cans, and it was just like the milkman. I'm showing my age, but it was just like the milkman would come around door to door. The chip man would come around door to door, and you would turn your chip cans back in, and they would give you a new can of chips.
No
Well,
way.
we would keep the cans, and we made a little drum set out of the first set of cans. So anytime I see one of these, I try to buy it. I was at a fair one day, and I saw a couple of these big cans that I have out back, and
They still
one
make
of
them?
them, no ma'am.
Yeah,
No,
not anymore.
they may make them. I think they were originally from Pennsylvania, but they used to have trucks that would come through our neighborhood in Hendersonville, Tennessee.
Oh,
So I was at this old country fair one time, and I saw these 2 cans laying there, and I told them how I started out playing that, and I became a drummer I had just got finished playing for one of the presidents or something, and I was telling them how that little can is what started it all. Well, I got to the car, and the top of it was all rusted out.
Oh,
So I turned around and I went back to see if they would trade out the lid with me or trade the whole can for let me get the other can. And whenever I got up there to turn that can in, I was going to see if they would trade it out with me. I had to walk about a half a mile back inside to this big fair. Had parkway out there, a lot of people there, like big flea market type fair. And I got that lid and I flipped it over and I saw all these divots in it. And I started saying, what if this is the can? So I couldn't turn it back in. I kept the one with all the dents in it. I thought, man, that might be the one that we learned how to play on. So I got it.
oh,
I kept it.
wow.
So I didn't turn it in for a new one.
Good for you.
Yeah,
That's a great memory.
that's where it started for us. Charles chip cans. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm, born and raised out here in California, so we didn't have chips in a can.
I think that you can still get them at maybe Cracker Barrel or something like
Oh,
that. It's
really? I'm
kind of
gonna
a
have to look now.
maybe like a retro type thing, you know.
Yeah. Now when I go to the next, we have a local Cracker Barrel. I mean, we finally got those a couple of years ago. We had to drive to Arizona to go to a Cracker Barrel. So now we
Well,
have them here in California.
they used to come in different sizes. Some of them would be for chips, some would be for pretzels. They also had cookies, so they had different sizes of these cans, and we wanted one of each so we could have a set of drums.
I'm writing that down so I can look it up. That's great. See the things we learn every day.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So what else is new for you? What's coming up besides this
I've
video release?
still got a pretty full schedule from now to next year, doing a lot of solo dates. We're doing the Opry tonight, where I'm up in Ohio this weekend doing 4 solo dates, and let's just still more recording. I got a brand new video getting ready to come out as a solo. We got these other videos as the Goldens getting ready to come out, so we're all just trying to stay busy. You know, Dad's got a pretty busy schedule with the Oak Ridge Boys. We're booking a few dates between now and the end of the year with the Goldens and the cracks of his schedule and my schedule and Rusty's schedule. And we're also looking at doing some more live performances next year. So
Will you guys be having some Christmas specials coming up at the
I
end of the
think
year?
we are going to be doing a Christmas event at the end of November. It will be our first one. So there's talks of doing more, but this year is going to be hard to do that because the only night off my dad has between Thanksgiving and Christmas Day are on Tuesdays. He's working every night at the Opryland Hotel doing a 30 show residency at the Opryland Hotel with the Oak Ridge Boys. So we don't have a whole lot of dates to choose from between Thanksgiving and Christmas because of his main job. But we'll be doing them when we can in the cracks, you know.
Well, it's amazing, I'm glad he sounds amazing, better than ever. So I'm glad he's out there doing it. What did the Goldens do for Thanksgiving? You guys all gather?
Well, for the last 3 or 4 years, we've done it here at my house, and I traveled with the Oaks for 17 years, and I know we used to leave on Thanksgiving Day, and we would be gone on a 30-city Christmas tour. We wouldn't get back home till right before, new Christmas Eve.
Wow.
And it was always hard to have Thanksgiving at noon, and then we would be leaving at 6 p.m., getting on a bus and saying goodbye to our families until we got back home. Now the Oaks are doing that residency, but since Dad has so much going on, every other we were safe. I just thought it'd be nice to save him the not the hassle, but the chore of having a house full of people the day, while he's working.
Right.
And
Yeah.
he's got to leave home that afternoon and having such a house full of people. So we started doing it here at my house, and we would have all the generations gather here, and I brine a turkey for about 2 days, couple of days, and cook him all night. And I hope we'll do the same thing. We get out our old traditional family recipes from my grandmother and my mother, and we try to carry that on because it's one of the only 1 or 2 times a year we get to have that. at Christmas, we sort of do a thing in honor of my mother's family. Always did it because everybody was always having the traditional thing, and the families get bigger, and you got to go do 3 or 4 different Thanksgivings, 3 or 4 different Christmases.
Right.
So instead of saving everybody from eating ham and turkey every time, we started doing a big gumbo to honor our Louisiana roots. So we have this big seafood gumbo Christmas Eve, and
Nice.
we still do that tradition today. So
what's on your list for Christmas for Santa?
more days to sing.
And he will bring you that.
But actually, I'm praying for those, so
Yes.
I'm not gonna count on Santa this year. I'm gonna have to go to the King to pray for that. I do have a solo Christmas song out there this year called Santa's Prayer,
Oh,
and I have a video that stars my father in it. I'll try to send it to you. Maybe we can get together and premiere it too during Christmas. But
that'd be
it's
awesome.
pretty cool. It's really cool. It's got my dad setting up all the Christmas decorations, and it's called Santa's Prayer. So even Santa prays, Anyway,
I would be honored.
yeah, it's pretty cool. That's one of my proudest moments. Yeah.
Oh, can't wait to see that one. So, what's your social media so we can find you?
I'm easy to find. I'm out there everywhere. It's chrisgolden.net is my website, chrisgolden.net. I got it's got the links to the Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I'm not doing the TikTok thing yet, but my kids are trying to talk me into it. And then the William Lee Golden and the Goldens. We're on all those. It's William Lee Golden and the Goldens.com, William Lee Golden and the Goldens on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. And we all try to kick in and do posts and stuff like that, and have other people helping too. But we're all easy to find. We've got all individual accounts as well as solo accounts. So there's always something going on between Dad's solo socials, Rusty's, my daughters, and mine, and then we have one that's all together. So a lot of socialing going on. There's plenty of ways to get in touch and to leave messages, and we read every one of them. So leave us a message and let us know where you're coming from.
Yeah, it's all about social media, which is a great way to keep in touch. That's what we have to do these days.
It is.
And I'll make sure we put it all out there so our viewers and readers can find you guys. And we look forward to premiering Bobbie Sue. That's going to be coming out soon. So I think it's coming out Monday, maybe.
That's my son singing on there with me, and Rusty. And, well, it's pretty cool. We got 3 generations on that one too.
Yeah. And it's a good video.
Little version. Pretty rocking little version. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any departing words for us?
I don't know when this is airing, but if it's airing
Monday.
This is airing Monday. Well, it'll be too late to listen to the Opry then, but we're going to be on there tonight. I was going to say tune in. And
well, we'll do that separately. We'll make sure everybody's.
I know you're from the Hollywood Times. Hey, we would all love to come to the Golden State sometime. So we hope to see you out there in person before too long, maybe next year.
Well, I haven't been traveling because of COVID, but I'm planning on going to Nashville next June. So I'm going to come and look you guys all up in June.
Awesome.
Of next year.
Well, you come right on. We'll welcome you.
I appreciate it. We do always appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to open your home there to us. It's beautiful, by the way.
Well, thank you. I'll take you on a tour. You got about a minute?
Yes, I do.
Y'all know you're getting ready to go by. This is my little house of music.
Oh, look at this.
Right? This is the guitar that my dad's uncle gave us right here.
Wow.
It's a 1953. There's a couple of my little dust catchers right there.
Lord.
But I make stuff. This is my grand piano bookcase that I made. Dig?
Awesome.
It's you see that?
Yes, it's beautiful. Look at this
house of music. House of music. These are the keys from the piano. I always like to stand in front of it, then I look like Madonna.
Yeah.
So I'll sign
talented.
off with this look right here.
You're so talented.
I'll sign off with this look right here. Okay.
Oh, we appreciate it.